the March 22nd, 23rd, 2023 Winnacunnet School Board meeting. I'm Meredith Nader, the superintendent. This is the board's first meeting since the election, so it's their reorganization meeting. So I get to begin the meeting, but we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the task of reorganization is to first select a chair for the school board for the upcoming year. So are there any nominations for the role of school board chair?
I'd like to nominate Ms. Leslie LaFond.
Second. Leslie, would you accept that nomination?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we have a motion then to elect Leslie LaFond as chair of the Winnacunnet School Board. Any discussion?
I just have a question. Who seconded that? Was that Nicole?
That was Nicole.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All those in favor? No opposed, no abstentions. We are unanimous.
I have that for the recording.
Congratulations.
That was really quick. Way too quick. Thank you. First, I'd like to, before we do anything else, welcome Desiree Potter, our new Hampton Falls rep. Welcome to the board.
Thank you very much.
And at this time, I'd also like to thank Tony Delano for his work on our school board for the last 3 years and our budget committee before then. He will be missed, and he was greatly appreciated for all of his work on the board. So I just wanted to let that out there. So appointment of vice chair. Do we have a nomination for vice chair of the Winnacunnet School Board? I would nominate Trish as vice chair.
Second?
Anybody, any other nominations? Alrighty, then we have the nomination. We have a motion to nominate Trish O'Keefe to serve as vice chair of the Winnacunnet School Board. All those in favor? All right, thank you. Congratulations.
Vote recorded.
Thank you. School board committee appointments. So Rhonda's been wonderful and written down what we need, but then also wrote down how many times a year it meets, what time of the day it meets, things like that, and who's on them now. So I think at this point, is there anybody who wants to be off of their committees that they're on right now? All right, so then what we've got is we need, Tony was on a C negotiation, which we don't need, right, or we do?
You'll have CESPA negotiations
We'll have
this
CESPA,
year?
okay. So we'd need that and BudCom.
And wellness and joint loss all.
That's right, and wellness and joint loss alternate. All right.
I would be willing to do the budget committee unless someone else wants to. I'm not wedded to it.
Yeah, because were you on it before too? You've done it before or no?
No.
Not yet? Okay. And then do you, Trish, do you want to be an alternate on that?
Sure, because I've done that before, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, Desiree, is there anything on these? Have you got?
To be quite honest, I haven't dove into each one of them.
Okay.
I looked over it briefly. I'm
Okay.
sure when we meet next week, I may have some questions for you.
Okay.
As far as what each committee entails
Okay.
before
Sure.
I jump in.
Not a problem. Then you want to leave the ones that, why don't we leave them the way they are so we have representation for the upcoming ones? And then if we want to readjust, we can do that in the following meeting.
Put it on the agenda for the next
Yep,
meeting.
put it on
to confirm.
for the next one, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Are we just putting the two on that we didn't appoint, or all of them?
Let's do,
Like all.
All?
yeah, let's do all, just so you've got them covered. And
Except for
then,
the chair, of course.
right, yeah.
Yeah, not that.
Not that, or the vice chair. Yeah, then we have appointment of school district clerk. So there's a motion to nominate Shirley Doheny as the Winnacunnet School District Clerk. Do I have a motion for that? It's a 3-year term.
I move that we approve Shirley Duhaney as the Winnacunnet School Clerk.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Great,
Have that vote recorded.
thank you. Appointment of School District Treasurer.
I move to nominate, Jack Lannon for our school district treasurer.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Great, thank you.
I have that vote recorded.
Thank you. So right now we have public comment, which we are opening now at
38.
what is it?
6:38.
6:38, so it'll be open for 30 minutes. Do we have any public comment today? All right, seeing none, we'll leave it open for 30 minutes. Winnacunnet Pride.
So right now, Winnacunnet our winter sports just ended and we're just starting the spring sports. So we're kind of in that transition period, especially with planning for like pep rallies and spirit weeks of trying to plan ahead so it doesn't sneak up on us, but also like trying to take a little bit of a breather. We just had a field trip a few weeks ago, student government did, for the state meeting, and then we also had one the week before for a district meeting where we discussed different ways to kind of get the student body involved. We have an upcoming Exeter field trip on April 13th, and that is supposed to be just district, and we will be meeting to kind of discuss. I think we're going to focus a lot on mental health in the student body because it's been a big topic of conversation lately, and it's something that I think a lot of the students are most concerned about, which is good that everybody wants to get involved with that. So we're all going to be meeting at Exeter to discuss that. Student council is also applying for honor council right now, which before COVID, when it kind of has always done in the past, it's an award that we've actually won quite a number of times for our organization and our achievements with our student council here at Winnacunnet. So we're getting the binder together right now, and we have different members writing up different pages for it, but it should be done within the next couple of weeks. We're hoping to have it done by next week so that we can submit early. And then we're working on our Spring Spirit Week already. We kind of went around at our last student council meeting and we came up with different ideas of different spirit days that students wanted to see. The seniors were very vocal about which ones that they wanted to see for their last kind of spirit week. And so we have like a short list of the different spirit days, ideas that everybody wants. And then we were thinking that because we do get a lot of complaints sometimes about which ones are boring and which ones people wanted to see that we didn't do. So I think we're going to do a Google form that we're going to send out and see what students really want, instead of just having student government pick what we think they want, because we'd rather just have them pick so that way the complaining is not our fault this time around. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're working on right now. And then the big thing that we've been seeing is an increase in social media usage with the student body and interacting. So we have our student council page where we post a lot of announcements and we post a lot of events. We had our recent battle of the classes. I don't think they've quite decided what to do with the money yet. And we had like $1 entry fee or donations welcome. And that was mostly run through social media with all the announcements and everything. And it worked out pretty well. We had pretty good attendance rates for that. Winnacunnet has also, for the seniors, we've had a like post-graduation plans page. And students have been submitting, you know, their trade school 4-year school plans to that page. And it's been really like successful. We've had a lot of kids reaching out. And then through the student council pages, we have 5 of them, one for each class, and then the overall student body student council page. And we've been having kids reaching out to that and messaging those accounts with questions that they have, which is, I think that's a really good resource for kids to have instead of feeling overwhelmed and not knowing who, like in admin, to email necessarily. They've felt comfortable reaching out to us, which has been really effective. So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Speaking of post-college plans, Grace, can we announce yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Grace is going to Northeastern.
Congratulations, that's
Thank you.
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are you gonna major in?
I'm majoring in biomedical physics, and I'm thinking of a minor in mathematics.
So you're slacking. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you
We
so
wish you the
much.
best of luck, and you've been a joy to have on
I
the
heard
board.
that's
So
a pretty good school too.
yeah, a little bit. So,
She can't go.
Yeah.
She can't go.
Yeah, I know. Really, I know. Well, that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Do you want to mention anything about the musical at Empty
Oh,
Balls?
yeah. So we just had our spring
Yeah.
musical last week as well. And we had a really great turnout, and it's been kind of lacking since before COVID because obviously people were more concerned about going out, and kids were, I think I've had kids in the music department tell me that it was definitely different after COVID, and they really felt like they got it back this year. We had they were awesome. I went to go see them. It was really fun, and it was definitely like a high school production. They did a great job, and even tech crew and everything, the art for all of the sets was just incredible. So
Awesome. I want to know who won the basketball though. Battle of the classes.
I think it was the seniors.
It was.
No,
Really
Look at her in the back. She's like, oh yeah. Okay.
it
I
could
don't know.
have
I
been
saw
a
that freshman
controversial.
game. It was a
Yeah.
little dicey
Yeah,
there
there
for a
were-
little while,
there were a
guys.
couple-
It could have been a
Questionable.
controversial call at the end.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. It was fun games to watch.
We don't question the referees,
That's
considering
it,
we
right,
asked
exactly.
we asked them to ref probably 2 hours before the game started. So we owe Mr. Riley and Mr. Goldstein some
Oh my goodness.
thank you
But
notes
no,
and
it was
cookies
fun.
or
I mean, the
something.
students played well. It was
Yeah,
it
they
was a lot
did.
of fun.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Grace. All right, so we have minutes from our February 9th. Do we have a motion to approve? Are there any questions or changes that need to be made? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 9th meeting.
And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Abstaining?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, no worries.
I'm new here. It's gonna be a little learning curve.
Nope, that's fine. And anything you have
I
questions
did
on, please.
review the minutes though. if
There we
that
go.
helps.
Just give us a yell if you've got questions though.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we have presentations right now, BioTruck Science Program.
We do. So we have Lauren Monston and Amy Hood here to present. The original plan was to have the students here, but somehow spring sports got into the way.
No.
So they're out with lacrosse. We try to bribe them to come so they may show up, but what they did do for tonight is put together a presentation.
Yes.
That
They were really good and recorded their presentation for you guys, so you can
Nice.
see it from them directly.
Just realized I'm signed into the computer, so
Okay. Thank you, guys. So the biology honors class with Mike Henwork and Shani Scarponi for the last 4 years or so have worked with Army and done BioTruck program. So this is a project where the students basically pick a science topic or in the medical field, a disease or sickness that is very important to them, and they create a temp, which you'll learn about in the video, basically find their own way to cure the disease. And they have to know all the science behind how to build these temporary or manufactured hearts, kidneys, etc. And all the science behind it is legit. I don't understand any of it, but I've been told it's all legit. And they have to do part of it as a business plan. How would they fund it? How would they present it to others if they were to try to get money for it? And then at the end, it's a Shark Tank type presentation where people from the school and from the company come in, and the students have to do a 5-minute presentation. It has to be less than 5 minutes. So they cram a lot of information into it. And then at the end, basically, it's who would we invest with. So that's kind of a brief intro, but I'm going to let the video do the rest of the speaking for itself.
Phoenix, and we are Core Technologies. I'm Caitlin Merrill, and I'm Avery Phoenix, and we are Core Technologies. Our case story is about Grace Levine, a 72-year-old woman who lives in Dayton, Ohio. She was diagnosed with CAD due to excessive smoking and was put on the waiting list for CABG surgery on April 12, 2022. She sadly died while on the wait list due to a heart attack. Coronary artery disease is the most common form of heart disease. It occurs when arteries are blocked due to plaque buildup and prevents blood flow to the heart. Some symptoms are chest pain, nausea, and discomfort in the arms and shoulders. It affects roughly 300 million people globally, and our TEMP will be coronary arteries. Our target market is split between buyers and users. First, the buyers. We will be selling to hospitals with long waitlist times and medical treatment centers with expensive surgery costs. Next, the users. We will be advertising to diabetics, those 65 years and older, people who live generally unhealthy lifestyles, smokers, and those who inherit CAD. Our coronary artery TEMP will be engineered using extrusion-based 3D bioprinting. We will outsource the bioprinters to lessen the expenses and make our option more affordable to the average person than competing options. Lastly, our TEMP will not just treat CAD, it will cure it. Our cellular component are allogeneic MSCs. Our media is a custom solution by Akron Biotech. Our growth factor is vascular endothelial growth factor, or VEGF. Our scaffold is extrusion 3D bioprinting. Our culture environment is the vertical wheel bioreactor, which gently and thoroughly mixes all the cells. And our stimuli is the pump system of synthetic blood, which ensures that the artery can handle and pump constant blood flow. Stage 1 of the creation of our product begins with allogeneic MSCs in the form of endocardial cells. We will then mix this with our custom media solution and add our growth factor, VEGF. Lastly, it will be entered into the vertical wheel bioreactor for mixing. Stage 2 begins with adding our bioink to the bioprinter. We will then start the bioprinter and monitor the process throughout. Lastly, we will use the flow cytometry to do a quality control check on the cells. And our last stage begins with entering our TEMP into the tissue maturation bioreactor. From there, we will put the TEMP through our stimuli process, and it will lastly undergo multiple quality control checks. We have multiple competitors. First, we have CABG surgery, which operates on the blocked arteries that are replaced by skin grafts, with an average cost of $151,784. Next, we have PTCA procedure. This unblocks the arteries by inflating a balloon in the artery wall, with an average cost of $56,552. Lastly, we have carotid endarterectomy, which is done to remove the fatty plaque and cholesterol buildup in the coronary arteries, with an average cost of $12,112. Our selling price is $35,577. Our profit is $123,990,000,000. Our total revenue is $355,770,000,000, and our gross profit is 35%. Our product is the best because the only other option is surgeries and medications, which have a higher risk of death or rejection. They're also much more expensive. Our scaffold choice allows the process to run efficiently and for less cost. The small size of the TEMP allows for mass production, and 3D bioprinting has a high projected growth rate. For our advertisement, we will set up conferences with multiple hospitals and send a company rep to meet one-on-one with those hospitals. We will reach out to consumers via commercial ads. For our distribution, we plan to use Medical Delivery Services Incorporated to deliver our materials to hospitals and medical centers. For our key partners, we have Army, who will serve as our contract manufacturers, Medical Delivery Services Incorporated, who will deliver our materials to hospitals, Dr. Raymond Gibbons, who works for Mayo Clinic, who will assist us in advertising to our buyers. We have Bill Clinton, who previously had CAD, who will serve as our spokesman advertising to our users, and GE Additive Company, who will assist in manufacturing our final product. In conclusion, our TEMP will cure coronary artery disease. It is more beneficial compared to risky and otherwise expensive surgeries. Also, it has affordable prices and a high manufacturing efficiency. Its make is highly customized and planned, and our key partners are highly strategical. Overall, our manufactured arteries will save millions of lives across the globe.
I didn't understand any of it.
I like the sound effect,
Wow,
right? That was pretty cool.
I'm just like, okay.
So they spent about all of January doing the research with the science behind it, who the partners would be, the business aspects of it, to make it real life and realistic to if the science and the technology, which believe it or not, some of the examples they give, the technology is secretly not too far behind. So, figured her.
Were
So
they
did also-
suggesting like cloning or stem cells?
So it's
Some of it
bio,
didn't really
it's
understand.
bioengineering, right? Some of it is
Yeah.
3D printing of
Okay.
cells and organs and valves, depending on the
Okay.
solution that they're
And
creating.
depending on which one of the solutions that they needed to take.
And Army is based in Manchester, New Hampshire. They are a biomedical engineering firm. And so they're a partner to some high schools across the state in working with students on these projects.
Oh,
We haven't actually signed Bill Clinton, just to be clear. Um,
That
But
is-
they had to research people who they thought would be good partners
Right.
based on,
Yeah.
on their
Right.
product.
Was Army?
Army is the
Yeah,
company.
Are they in Manchester?
They are.
I thought so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, so one of their reps actually comes and works with the students and works with the teachers and is part
Right.
of the course. And then when they do the Shark Tank presentations at the end, they have representation from there zooming in and asking very legitimate questions. And again, these kids are so knowledgeable and it's
Yeah.
impressive. Again, it goes right all over
That's
my
great.
head.
And they have people from Army that are at different levels in Army, so there's like the salesperson, there's an actual medical person there. It's
Technician.
very intense, I will tell you, and the students don't know what the questions are gonna be, it's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, it's impressive how they can answer on the fly, and it's hard to see in the recording, but even their presentation, there's eye contact constantly, they
Yeah.
hold their own, so it was pretty impressive, and they were the winning group out of their class, so that's why.
But
they
did you say
recorded.
it was AP Bio students?
No, biology honors, those are freshmen.
Oh,
What?
freshmen. Wow. Bio honors. And they choose this, or everybody who's in?
Anyone in
honors
biology honors
Everyone
does it.
Does it?
So, but they
okay.
pick their topic, it's totally driven by their interest, and they create the backstory. Sometimes the backstory is someone's family member, I've seen those presentations as well. So it is driven by their interest, and then they go off and running and have to include all the different components of it all.
So I just have one little question.
What does any of it mean? No.
Nope, no, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm just gonna go with the fact that, so we have freshmen who are presenting this, and if all of a sudden they come across something that actually can be working and where do we go from there? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
It's not unheard of that high school students are developing solutions to
Right.
complex medical problems. and
well, that's
other
what I'm
world
wondering. So
problems, right?
do they get credit? I mean, like, do they get to sell?
I am sure
I'm like,
that-
do
I
they
am
get to sell this
sure-
patent of
I am
whatever they've
sure
just done,
that
you know?
Our Army would work with them around
Okay.
licensure in that process. It hasn't come up yet, but,
Because that's what I'm just thinking that, you know, there's things here that it's well over our heads, but if it was something that could work, you know, you'd hope that they would get something out of it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or be able to at least be in on it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could be those prodigals that, you know, we have 14-year-olds saving. Cure for
question.
cancer, okay, great, yeah, all right, thank you.
Did, maybe I missed it at the beginning, but did they talk at all about testing?
They talk a little bit somewhere towards the end, I think, about how they would test it for effectiveness a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do mention a little bit of it.
okay,
Yeah,
all right,
can't say I.
yeah, it's not a major focus of the
No.
project.
okay, all right.
Quality
But
control
clearly,
testing.
in real world, in real time, right?
Right,
That approval process is very time consuming.
exactly,
Yeah.
I'd be interested in that.
It's a lot to cram into 5 minutes. It's about a month's worth of work that they have to cram into 5 minutes.
Right.
So
And
they have
they
the
do-
brochures that I'm passing around.
And they do time them.
Oh, we do, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they do the presentations, we had 4 minutes and 57 seconds for some of them, and
Wow.
but they do it at a good pace and they present very well. So, and just to make sure, I didn't know if you could hear their names, but it's Avery Phoenix, Caitlin Merrill, and Elle Emery that were in the presentation.
It's amazing,
So-
what a program.
They're all three are freshmen, and this is an honors?
Biology honors.
That impresses me.
Yeah, I know, really, me too, like,
Easily impressed like that.
we are, wow.
Wow. I love the practical application to it.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. You know, they start with somebody they knew or somebody who could have benefited from this. That's such a great place to start, I think, for projects like this. You know, it's, it certainly grounds the research. That's fabulous.
And their ability to answer the questions off the cuff during the Shark Tank presentations is impressive.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And do they all, that presentation, do they all do it all at once? You know, is there one day that they do that?
Yeah, over 2 days usually. We do about, Mike Hanwork and Shane Scarponi do about 3 to 4 in a block.
Yeah.
So that there's time for the panel to go through their rubrics, kind of collaborate a little bit, and then they go on to the next one. So, yeah, it's 2 days that they push through them all.
Okay. Is that by any chance filmed? Like, I'm sure the school films it, or?
Not filmed. This was the first, we actually just had them record
Yeah.
this after the fact for.
It'd just be interesting to see that part of it too. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? At the end product of it, but we'll tell them good luck and congratulations.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they did an unbelievable job.
And do you remember Winnacunnet High School when they get their Nobel Prize?
Yes, get their Nobel Prize for medicine. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're staying up for the next part.
Yeah.
Next generation science standard work?
So this actually segues right into this next part where this work is really driven by the students, driven by what their interests are, and phenomena-based as well. You know, they have a problem that occurs and how are they going to solve it. So Next Generation Science Standards, often referred to just as NGSS, was adopted by New Hampshire quite a while ago as the science standards for the state. So we are working on implementing it here at Winnacunnet. And what this packet has is a little bit about how New Hampshire adopted it, what our timeline is, which I'll speak through in a minute, and then in the back there's just a couple of pages that give a little bit of general info about what NGSS is and what it can kind of look like in a classroom. So we were very fortunate. One of our teachers Barbara Reed went to a workshop with a NGSS expert. And thankfully, we have been able to partner with her. Her name's Liz Mira, and we'll be working with her over the next 3 years to implement NGSS here at Winnacunnet. Liz was part of the team that developed NGSS. She's a teacher that was at had a seat at the table when this was developed, so she's a great resource for us because oftentimes we read curriculum standards and we're like, I wonder what they meant when they developed this. Well, we get the answers right from her. And she has experience implementing this into all grade levels and across all different science topics. So she's been a great resource for us. So she did visit this year. She was able to come and observe a lot of classes, get a sense of what Winnacunnet is like. And I do have to credit all the teachers that she obviously is an outsider to this building. And the first thing she noticed was the relationships our teachers make with the kids. So I thought that was really great to hear from someone coming in.
Nice
So she got a sense of what our classes are like, what our community is like, because as she says, she's an expert in NGSS, but the teachers are the expert in the kids. So it's been a great partnership. She's going to continue to work with us this summer, doing a general training for science teachers. And then in the fall, we'll kick off with an entire department training. And that will continue throughout the year where she'll be able to come and help us implement different parts of this work. So this is all phenomena-based. So it starts with a problem or something that's happening, and it really is meant to be having the kids figure out how it happened, why it happened, and not just giving the information and having them regurgitate it back. So that bio track presentation is a really good example of where we're headed with our science work. So again, it'll be a work in progress for the next few years with the idea that in the 2026-2027 school year, we have a full department-wide implementation of self-sufficient NGSS teaching, learning, and assessing. So the reason it takes a few years is it's a different type of teaching, a different type of assessing. So a lot of our teachers do aspects of this now, but to do it from start to finish is a little bit of retraining and learning and pedagogy. It's a change from what some of them have done. But everyone is diving into it with open minds. People are trying it out. It's going to be a little messy, but science is fun when it's messy. So, so we're looking forward to being able to adopt these standards and continue this work over the next few years.
Great. Anybody have any questions? Again, science overnight. Thank you.
I have a question.
Go
In
ahead.
terms of the standards now, is this specific for New Hampshire? Is this something that is national with New Hampshire characteristics? How does this match with, I'm thinking, Massachusetts or
Yes.
New York or?
NGSS is, a lot of states have adopted it nationwide.
Okay.
So, for example, our consultant has been working with us here in New Hampshire and in Hawaii and in Minnesota. So it is a nationwide, each state has to adopt it, but many of them have.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have our superintendent's report. I forgot.
Okay. So the first update really was about elections, but again, welcome to Desiree, and our budget and warrant articles were approved by voters. We are waiting for the Southampton vote, which will take place next Tuesday, to determine the collective bargaining agreement, but otherwise, we are in good shape moving forward, so we appreciate the voter support, and we will use those resources wisely, I promise. Joint board meeting is coming up next Tuesday, so we have a number of things on the agenda. Portrait of a Learner, which Dr. Hobbs will talk about later. We will elect the chair for the upcoming year. This year that will be from Northampton. The School Board Association will be there for some questions and answers, just so we have new board members and for continuing board members, just to sort of check in on how things are going and the roles and any questions on that front. And we'll also talk about superintendent evaluation at that meeting. We are looking at April 10th as our tentative date for the legislative meeting. It's a Monday night, right after crossover. Crossover, I believe, is April 6th. So we're targeting the 10th as the time to get together with our legislators to talk about those bills that are moving forward. We'll talk later this evening about teacher and administrator renewals. Our deadline, statutory deadline for those renewals is April 15th. And then Grace gave us lots of great news about the high school. I will just mention our financial literacy team that qualified for the state championships in Concord next week. So congratulations to the team and Coach Lisa Harris on that. I know we're talking through Portrait of a Learner about financial literacy. It's not a required course in high school, but there are certainly students who do opt to take that, and these students get to display their knowledge and learning about all things financial. We actually should have Matt go some year.
Yes, we should.
To give them a rating. They should actually practice, do a practice run with him, I think.
There you go.
And I was able to attend the play on Friday night, and yes, congratulations to the cast and the orchestra and the crew for a great show, and thanks to our directors and musical advisors and our staff technician as well. And then just mentioning that the state Bright Futures survey has just been launched, so we'll be putting out a notice about that to families and to staff about that opportunity probably Friday. It will remain open through the end of April. But it's a chance for the state to collect information from parents, community members, and faculty about how they perceive schools are doing in the state of New Hampshire.
Great, thank you. Any
welcome.
questions? All right, next is curriculum instruction and assessment. Thank you. It's you.
And kudos to Amy and Lauren for the NGSS presentation. We're really proud of those strategies. I'm also personally proud of the ability to dovetail the K-8 work in NGSS with the high school work. Just so you guys know, we've developed a very similar implementation plan at the K-8 level for next generation science. We'll be doing phenomenology, a lot of project-based. It's the performance assessment of science, right? So it's coming together well, and I think we have a lot to be proud of. So I have maybe 3 things to highlight for my report. First is safety and security. Safety and security, just a couple of updates for you. Tomorrow morning, actually, we are meeting with the task force again for everybody, so everybody's on the same page. That's the emergency responders from all of our different districts and towns come together with our school administration. Leslie's attended a few times, and basically we can go through different scenarios, go through protocols together. It's good because we have, the cops being able to talk to the schools, but also the cops being able to talk to one another. So tomorrow, the theme is reunification. We're going to be going through that process with our different districts and our administrators. Excited about that. And in the works is a regional reunification training. And so you know what that's all about. That's in a scenario where if we had a reunification issue where we had to meet off-site, we'd have people trained in other districts, for example, in Oyster River, Exeter, Hampton, who would be able to come in and help us facilitate that reunification process for moms and dads. And the idea is we'd all be trained in the same way, with the same language and expectations, so that we can help each other out in that kind of scenario. So that's upcoming, and we're working with Exeter to make that happen. As Meredith mentioned, we're moving forward pretty quickly with Portrait of a Learner. Right now, we're at the listening stage. We went through all data collection, boiled our themes or pillars down into 5, which you guys see in front of you. And I mean, there are some that aren't surprises, but I think there are some that are surprises, frankly. We had core academics was a big theme that emerged from all the feedback. And again, this is from students, this is from admin, this is from teachers, this is from community members. Academics, keywords are on the back. Things like rigor, competency-based education, personalized pathways, SST, data analytics, and equity, along with a number of others. So that wasn't a big surprise. Mindsets, things like creativity, curiosity, purpose, problem solving, empathy. Those things emerged as areas of importance for our community and for our kids. Essential life skills, we talked about financial literacy, right? Essential life skills emerged as a pillar of a core value of our community. Things like being able to run a spreadsheet, change a tire, do your taxes, manage a household budget, the things that help you be an adult. That came up over and over again with our different conversations and our different kind of stakeholder groups. Telling, right? And I know Grace isn't here right now, but physical and mental health came up. And this is from students as well as parents, as well as community members. Things like work-life balance, right? Mental health support, stress management, emotional connections, and physical activity, just to name a few. And then last, we had community engagement. Actually, we had started this process, and we ran all our data, and we had those 4 first pillars, and then we went back out to the community. I think you were there, Leslie. And we said, hey, what's missing? And the community gave us a gut check and said, hey, wait a minute, this big body, this pillar is missing, called community engagement. So we started rounding that out and shaping that in terms of what it looks like for our kids. I'm gonna give a joint board presentation on this, so I don't wanna go too deep. But this is where we are. We're working with a graphic company to make it pretty, but we're also working on reverse engineering this in our schools. In other words, taking a look at these big, broad goals and breaking them down into things that are actually measurable, attainable, and things that we can offer within our schools to help our kids. So that's the idea there. Last, I just want to give you guys a certification update. I just noticed, I ran this probably a couple weeks ago. Numbers are getting better with certifications. In the 158 credentials and 114 educators, Winnacunnet now is at 65% done, with a total of 61% across the SAU. I will note, however, that the central office is at 100%, thanks to Meredith and her 5 certifications that she just hammered out really quickly. But in all seriousness, in order to certify our teachers, we have to cross that with professional development experiences, making sure that they've, throughout their last cycle, have done content hours, non-content hours, and making sure there's accountability there before we recommend them to the DOE. So it is a process, and it is important, and we have until mid-April to get it done, so we're tracking well. And I'll stop there unless there are questions.
Anybody have any questions? Dave, this is amazing. I think the amount of work that's gone into this, and bringing everybody together, kudos to you and to the group that have done it. I love being part of it and being able to see all of everybody coming together and working on it. And I've walked away from every single one of them learning something else that somebody else thinks is important. Then all of a sudden, everybody jumps on and they're like, "Oh yeah, and it grows." And it's been a great experience, but the fact that you've pulled this all together is, thank you.
You know what's strange is you go into a middle school class and you have this conversation, and then you go to the senior breakfast in Northampton and you have the same conversation, and the similarities in what they're saying are unbelievable.
Well, this is it. As much as we're all unique and different, we all are the same in so many aspects. So I love it. So thank you for that, and thank you for all the work on it.
Thanks. All right.
Yeah, thank you for just all the heavy lift. I mean, a lot of those topics, I mean, you know, about reunification, I mean, that's not an easy conversation. That's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
And, you know, as a board member, as a parent, as a community person, thank you. I mean, that's really, I don't think I've ever heard that conversation before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that's always kind of in the back of my mind about what we do and
Mm-hmm.
where do we go and what do we say, and to, I think, bring it to, you know, this level is, inspires a lot of confidence. So,
Well,
thank
I
you.
mean, it's the team. I mean, it's the team, right? It's the groups of people that come together. It's
Right.
it's nice to be able to facilitate that. So thanks.
Well, thank you for leading it.
All right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks. I'm noticing it's 7:15, so we're done with public comment unless anybody has any. Okay, then public comment is closed. Next is our student service report is filed in there. Is there anything you wanna, or just let, if anybody has any questions, they can,
Yeah, I think that's
check with.
fine. That's fine, yep.
Yeah. And principal's report? Bill?
So, good evening. So the first thing I want to do is make it known and congratulate Susan Allen, who's a special education teacher, and she was recently selected as the New Hampshire Special Education Teacher of the Year. And that was sponsored by the Council for Exceptional Children. So this is a great recognition
Huge.
for Sue. She will be honored at the New Hampshire Eddies. That's the Academy Awards for educators.
Love it.
I think it's Saturday, June 3rd. So I'll be sending information out if you'd like to join us. We'll have several staff members going to that. So it's a
Great.
great evening that she'll be recognized, as well as a lot of other educators in the state.
Great, thank you.
We're finalizing the athletic equity audit. I met with the lawyers last week to provide some additional information. They will be interviewing Mr. Bood once again, along with Mr. DeBoul, who's scheduled next week. We will also set up interviews with students. I'll be talking to the students. And then I've also provided booster funding information for both the boosters that are outside the school and inside the school, so I'll be reviewing that over the next few weeks. And then they'll be providing a report as far as where we stand. Again, this is nothing that any outside agency has identified us. It's something that we want to be proactive to make sure that we're providing for both males and females as far as us on our sports and athletic fields. So it's something that we took the step to do. And again, based on those results, we'll implement any recommendations. But I think overall we should be in pretty good shape. But again, there's always some things that we overlook. And it's gonna, I think it's a positive. So far, it's been a great experience. So we'll continue with that. Safety and security update as far as what we're doing here at Winnacunnet High School. We've been focusing on the training for all students. In the fall, we went over everything with the students. Last trimester, we had a lockdown practice and also a tabletop review involving different scenarios, what students would do in case something happened here. We'll be doing another one in trimester 3. And then we have finalized the video script that we'll be using, and we'll begin filming that over the next few weeks. We'll be using our students and staff what to do in different events. So we'll be able to show that. And again, staff have watched the Alice videos, but we felt that with our students involved, and actually we do have some students on our committee here, and they've got some great suggestions, so we'll be finalizing that over the next few weeks. Class selection process is well underway. Students have gone online and selected the classes for next year, and then now meeting with guidance, and we'll finalize that. And then once that is, we'll begin taking a look at our schedule for next year. Continue to post the COVID numbers, and since break, we have only had one positive that's been reported to us. So, and the students and staff that we've tested here in the building have come back negative. So, Right now, things are going well. I think overall, you know, even with COVID and the flu and the colds, I think we've done very well this year. So hopefully we'll continue. 2 donations. One you do get to act on later this evening. The other one, we received $60 from the Blackbaud Giving Fund on behalf of Next Extra Energy for $60 to support Winnacunnet student activities. So I graciously accepted that and put it into the account.
And we thank them, yeah.
Enrollments have been steady throughout. No changes, you know, and I think that kind of coincides with what the enrollment projections have been. So we've been steady, and we'll remain steady for the next few years. Upcoming events, this did happen last Saturday. We also had Empty Bowl, so it was a busy weekend at Winnacunnet High School. Thank you for the art department and staff and students that volunteered. It was a very steady, consistent crowd throughout.
Yeah, it was busy.
You know, we had 8 restaurants around the area that provided soup, and our own Chef Ed had 2 things of soup. Actually, and our decisions program also had soups. So it was a great morning, afternoon. Today we had the PSAT and the SAT testing. Went very well. Delayed opening this morning, but overall we had no issues, and we'll be sending those results in. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is the National Honor Society induction ceremony. We have 50 students this year being inducted into the NHS, so it should be a fun evening. Next Tuesday, SAU 21, SAU 90, the band and chorus come together. They'll have great performances next Tuesday night. April 4th, we will have the step-up day. We'll have a delayed opening for the high school students, but all the incoming students, the 8th grade incoming students, will come here. They'll be walking around the building. They'll be meeting with teachers. The teachers will go over the different curriculum in the different content areas. We'll have an activity fair, and then up in the dining hall, and they'll also be able to go down to the gym to see what activities are down there. So it should be very good morning for them. We will be administering the Youth Risk Behavior Survey on Wednesday, April 12th. We have done that every other year for the last 18 to 20 years, and we do get information back for Winnacunnet High School as we compare to the state. So once we have that, we will share that with you. And then brings us to spring break. Couple other things. On Saturday, April 8th, if you recall, we'd have some students go over to France earlier this year. And on April 8th, we have several French students coming here to stay with us for a couple weeks. So they arrive, and we're going to have a little reception for them on Saturday, April 8th. And then I think at the previous meeting, I spoke about some potential trips going overseas, one to London. Another teacher is now, Shannon Clifford is now looking to potentially propose to go to Costa Rica next April vacation. So I just want to bring that to your attention. So they'll start, initial preparation and see what they need to do that. So we'll be able to discover the world over the next.
That's it. It'll be nice.
I think with COVID, things have been shut down, but now with COVID slowly disappearing, there's more activities and international trips that our students are looking forward to going on.
And I think a school board member has to be present at every single one of these trips, just so you know. Yeah. Just to make sure everything goes safely. Yeah.
Well, the Costa Rica trip may be more an adventure trip, so it looks like fun. So.
Yeah, it does. I bet. All right, thank you.
I think
Anything
that's all
else?
I have. No.
All right. Anybody questions?
And then next month, we'll bring the final end of the year schedule together, especially with graduation and those activities. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Finance report. Matt, you're up. He looks at the clock. Yeah. And go. No.
Thank you. So I've included 2 reports on board docs. That's the fiscal year to date expenditure report and FY23 revenue report. So on the expenditure side, we currently have a balance of approximately $175,000. And that's with just over 3 months remaining in the fiscal year. Considering that we were over budget by $685,000 in special education unanticipated costs, I am actually very pleased with our current balance. However, I do want you to note that that balance will continue to tick down as we continue through the remainder of this year and expend any funds that have not already been encumbered through these last 3 months. That being said, the bulk of our expenditures have been encumbered. That being said, we do have a buffer on the revenue side. The revenue report is showing a surplus revenue of a little over $400,000. And this is primarily due to unanticipated banking interest based on the rate increases over the last year, as well as additional special education aid. So we've incurred a good amount of special education costs and due to out-of-district placements. However, we've also received additional special education aid because it's reached that threshold. So it doesn't fully offset those or nearly offset those costs, but there is some additional revenue on that side. Additionally, as you know, we did receive the New Hampshire retirement system refund that does help the bottom line. So while I am very confident in our current financial standing, particularly with that surplus revenue, we will be taking some extra care with our spending for the remainder of this school year, and we will be expending for essential needs only. Should we have any additional unanticipated costs that may affect that bottom line, we also have the special education expendable trust that we could utilize, as well as the healthcare expendable trust. As you know, we under budgeted for health insurance, knowing that we had the healthcare expendable trust to tap into, as well as the building maintenance expendable trust. So we have levers, but we're not even close to reaching that point yet.
Can I ask a question before you move on?
Yes.
When you say essential costs only, like what falls under that or what's not under that?
So any budget items that are necessary for the operation of the school, right? So occasionally Bill will come to us with more of a want than a need, and in this case we will it'll be a hard no.
Yeah. So wait to ask for Costa Rica. No.
There's always a plan.
In reality, what we're going to be doing is just really taking a hard look at every expenditure and determining whether it's truly necessary or if it's something that we can go without for the remainder of the year. But like I said, we do have a solid balance. It's just when we get to this kind of inflection point, we're in that $500,000 range. We just want to take care of our expenditures. So finally, I just want to thank all the Winnacunnet community members who've supported our schools and our teachers contract at last Tuesday's election. I am very happy to say that, and I know it's been said before, but that the Winnacunnet operating budget, HVAC upgrades, auditorium lighting, and athletic field lighting warrant articles all passed at ballot. Additionally, the CBA passed in Seabrook, Hampton Falls, Northampton, and Winnacunnet. We just need to wait on Southampton. The Southampton election is scheduled for March 28th. So based on the results of their election, should it pass in Southampton, it'll pass across the board for all SAU 21 schools. But we're very pleased with the show of support from all of our communities, and it's really thankful for that support. So be happy to answer any additional questions.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? No? Thank you, Matt.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right, next up is our policies, second read and adoption. Meredith, you want to address those?
I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
So we have 31 policies on the agenda. These were on your agenda last month as a first read, so this is our opportunity to adopt those. 20 of those are being reviewed. They are largely from Section K, which is our community relations section of the policy manual, and a few were holdovers from previous sections. And then we have 11 policies recommended for withdrawal by the policy committee. And I've not received any questions or comments since our last meeting.
All right.
I have some questions.
Happy.
Sorry,
Happy to take them
I
now.
just looked at these recently. Actually, I had 3 policies I just wanted to talk briefly about. The first, IHBA, that's the Programs for Pupils with Disabilities. And I just had a question about, sorry, my computer's slow.
It's okay.
Oh, okay, in the first line, it talks about programs for pupils with disabilities. And the first line talks about how the district shall provide a free and appropriate public education and necessary related services to all children with disabilities residing in the district. And I was wondering if we should be expanding that to include any students have been placed out of district in the district. Do we need to add a clause in case there was a court placement, or even if they're not residing in the district? I got
No,
tripped up on
I
the
understand that.
language.
No, you're not incorrect, but that's already really covered under other laws. So those placements are court ordered, so it
Okay.
doesn't conflict with the federal law. Our financial responsibility rests with children who are residents of our district, who reside in the
Okay.
district. Though we sometimes do, you're not wrong, provide
Yeah,
services to
yeah.
other students. This really is more about the oversight for and liability for providing. Have and RSA 186C both have the provisions
Okay.
for placement.
Okay, all right,
within them.
fabulous, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, and then I had a question about, IHA, let me see if I can pull that one up here. We used to have big, thick binders with all these in, okay,
IHA is
Sorry.
on this list.
The curriculum development? No, IHA,
Is it,
guidance program?
Yes,
Okay.
in it references, state standards, and I'm wondering if we can attach those to that policy?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
IHA.
Sorry.
IHA isn't in this list.
Yeah, it's not on our list.
Oh, sorry.
It just says the Winnacunnet board shall maintain a guidance program that meets all state standards.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
not on the agenda though.
Oh, oh, why,
I think it just is next on your list if you were looking at
Looking at the
IHBA, it's the
IHBA.
next
Oh,
policy
that's
after
okay.
that.
All right,
okay, all right, never mind.
perfect.
And then, although I would like,
Yeah, I'll make a note.
okay, thank you. And, KDD, I think, sorry,
Yep.
I am having eye surgery in a bit, so some of this is kind of difficult for
It
me
is
to
small
see.
print,
It
don't
is small,
apologize.
yeah.
Media
KDD?
relations.
Yes,
KDD.
KDD.
I don't see a 2 Ds, I see 1 D.
It's a
KD.
recommended for withdrawal,
Oh.
down below.
Is it?
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay,
Yes.
KDD, I
So
Got it.
in light of withdrawing that policy, and in light of the fact that we're looking at hiring a public relations firm, does the New Hampshire School Boards Association have any sort of template policy that we might need to adopt to govern that?
So we will be looking at a policy. We're
Okay.
required to develop a district communications plan.
Okay.
So that was in, I think, the September update from the School Board Association, but because we were looking to potentially hire, we deferred. It's not a required by law policy, it's a recommended
No, no.
policy. So we want to look at that once we onboard
Okay.
the firm, so we can work with them collaboratively to develop the communications plan,
Okay.
but we will be looking at that policy. I think it's won't be the next agenda, but it would be the subsequent one.
Right, in May, you would have a first read on that.
Oh, okay, all right, very good, that was all I had, thank you.
Perfect.
Any other questions on the policies? No? Could I have a motion to approve the adoption and withdrawal as recommended for the 31 policies as presented?
I'll make a motion. You said the whole thing.
Yep. Thanks, Nicole. And a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor? Opposed? We're good.
Okay, I have that motion recorded.
Thank you. Accessibility and Study Committee, do we have any update on that?
I will be talking to the, committee again, now that, the budget is almost, has passed, that we
Mhm.
have a good idea of the financial, outlook for the remainder of the year. Just want to, get a handle on what can be done, what our scope will be and not be, and how we might proceed, whether it be with, looking forward to next year's budget or utilizing leftover funds. There's a lot of people that know a lot more about that sort of thing than myself, that I would like to touch base with and then be able to present some sort of cognitive plan.
All right, great. Thanks, Tamara.
Thank you, I'll be in touch, Bill.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Auditorium dedication, so we just need to pick a date for that.
Yes.
So,
Did you have any input from the family?
end of April, beginning of May.
Okay.
So,
So
I don't know what
after
it goes.
After vacation week?
Probably after vacation week. We don't need kids here. I mean, it's not a, it's gonna be a, I think it's more going to be family, small, not this,
Oh, okay.
it's not gonna be a big political thing. So we're gonna leave it at a family dedication, to it. So if there's a date that works for the school,
We can check that very first week of May.
Okay.
You're saying end of April, so April
Yeah.
vacation ends the 28th, so
Yeah.
we can look at that next week, and we can we'll work with Bill and Rhonda to get a poll out to the
Okay.
board
all right.
for availability for those dates.
Okay,
Is there a
perfect.
time of day? Are you thinking evening or afternoon?
I don't know. I
Okay.
think whatever works. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like we can do it depending on the day. Do you know what I mean? If we do it on a weekend, you could do a midday. If you do it on a Friday or something like that, you could do the afternoon or early evening. So,
So,
Yeah.
I think if teachers and students do wanna come, it might be nice to have it,
Like a
toward
right
the end
after
of the
school
day.
right
Yeah.
after school thing. Yeah.
and I just need to take a look, because on May 4th, we do have the parent conferences,
Okay.
and that typically coincides with the art show.
Art
so
show,
let me,
that's right.
Find out.
It'd be nice if we had it done before then, but yeah, if we could do that, maybe even
Early that week, maybe?
yeah,
Monday or Tuesday?
yeah, maybe do that.
Okay.
What are the dates on that?
May 1st and 2nd, so if you wanna maybe check with the family about
That would be-
availability, and then we can,
Yeah, I think that
Check
would be
back with the
good,
board.
because then you'd be back too, probably, because
I'll be back.
you'll be back. I love it. All right, so the first or second. Okay.
and for Desiree or members of the public who may not be aware,
Oh,
our
sorry.
auditorium, that's okay.
Yep.
The board voted to name the auditorium in honor of Rennie Cushing, who was a former state legislator and longtime moderator for the school district.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Whoop, just wipe that right out, sorry.
And that was the 1st or 2nd of May?
First or second of May, yep. Thank you. Acceptance of gifts. We have Bill.
So we have an anonymous donor that was very generous and donated $792 to cover the food for the indoor track meet.
That's nice.
That was very nice.
Very nice.
And we have also a gift from St. Vincent de Paul of Hampton. Is that
There
on
we
your
go.
list?
Yep.
In the amount of $2,846.26 to be used to pay overdue lunch accounts.
That's very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And so do we wanna, let's do all of them together, would that be all right? So could I get a motion to accept the donations?
I'll move that we accept the donations from this month from Anonymous and St. Vincent de Paul of Hampton.
Great, and a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Okay. I'll have that note recorded.
Thank you. Award of bid, thanks, Matt.
Thank you. So the bid process has concluded for the proposed HVAC upgrades project. Bids were sent directly to 10 vendors, 3 attended the walkthrough, and 2 submitted bids. So we are recommending award of bid to Palmer and Sicard for the amount of $87,700. And just please note that the funding from this project is from the warrant article that was just passed at ballot last week.
All right, so we need a motion.
Madam Chair, I move
Yes.
to award the bid for HVAC upgrades to Palmer and Sicard in the amount of $87,700.
Thank you, and a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Okay.
Great.
I'll have that note recorded.
Thank you, Matt. Personnel, we have to do outside. So our future meetings, we have SAU 21 joint board meeting on Tuesday, March 22nd. We 28th. What am I reading? Jesus.
Next Tuesday.
He does clean.
Yep, I think so. Okay. Tuesday, March
That was
28th.
this
I
afternoon.
have no idea.
I missed the
SAU
meeting.
21 joint board
But it was
policy
looking at next
meeting,
month.
Monday, April 10th. And our next Winnacunnet School Board meeting is Wednesday, April 9th. 19th. Oh my God, give me yours.
You can
Oh, I
enlarge
can
the
enlarge
size.
that, there we go, all right. I'm just gonna do that.
She has that.
Good God.
She's got the special
Policy.
Oh,
it's not
bad.
joint
On the
board.
10th.
On the
Next
10th, okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
didn't.
policy.
It's next Tuesday.
Next
Okay.
Tuesday is,
Joint board Tuesday, policy committee April 10th, school board meeting April 19th.
And
So
I'll be
that's the
tested
same-
for dyslexia
It's the same
soon,
date
so.
as the Southampton election and concert, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, chorus
Come
and band
earlier, you
concerts
won't get a
that
spot.
evening as well.
That's right, yes.
cause that's a isn't that SAU-wide?
It is
Yep.
SAU wide. It will be a
Yeah.
very busy evening.
And we
I
have
may
to
do
be here
ping
at
pong.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to ping pong.
Well, if anybody needs to park at my house and walk up with me, you're more than welcome.
That's the same night as what? There'll be a lot of
The
cars.
chorus and band concerts,
Oh.
SAU wide chorus and band concerts, or for SAU 21 and 90 are that evening.
Yay.
And it's the
That's a lot of
I believe it's
people.
the election in Southampton.
In Southampton, yeah.
Right.
Which shouldn't impact our parking, but.
Let's hope,
I mean,
right?
that would be amazing voter
Yeah.
turnout.
But our members, our Southampton members
I
might
love it.
be late.
All right, so at this point, I need a, motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion for a roll call to enter non-public session under RSA 91-A:3